Hello, beautiful collective. Hello, beautiful world. Welcome back to video 2 of the mini course on 5D Living by NuWave Leadership. This is Vishnupriya, Aristo, and Sabrina Lindner, the founders of NuWave Leadership. We are here to take you through the second essential piece that will support you in starting to live a 5D life today. So, today we are going to talk about all is one. But what does that really mean, all is one? We have had this many times before. So, from a 5D living perspective, and from what we learned from the collective of one, it's actually, remember the first video that you watched, where everything is energy, everything is a beautiful flow and a beautiful expression of energy. And the only deeper meaning there is actually this natural process of purifying energy constantly so that it can flow, right? All the time, just flow in whatever shape and form it wants to flow. Let me put it that way. So, what that also means is that we are not separate in the way that we usually think, or that we have been, um, trained to believe also when we speak of I and the others, or if we speak of this house and I'm this human, or this is this animal and this plant and I'm this human. There's all these labels and all these concepts around separation. Again, we call that the 3D world, which creates a lot of, you know, distress and a lot of the challenges that we actually face. So, from a 5D living perspective, we will actually look at as everything as flowing energy, and that there's absolutely no separation between me, this laptop that I'm currently recording on with Vishnupriya, or the cat that is sitting in my house today. There is no separation between all of us. And I'm handing it over to Vishnupriya to go a little deeper into what that practically means in our everyday life.
Yes, and if you are a person who has gone through different types of spiritual courses, you might also have heard of the word oneness, right? So, the oneness aspect of it, even though in my case I had heard about that before, it did not actually have any impact in my perspectives until I heard it from the COO speak it in a very different way, which is now that everything is energy, as we learned from the first video. Now we also know if this entire universe is just a big flow of bunch of energy, we know that then all is one, right? So now imagine, for example, you are in a room full of people, right? Let's say there is hundreds of people, there's children, there's old aged people, there's different, people coming from different countries. So let's imagine this is international audience. And if you are looking at this entire room from a bird's eye view perspective, all you see is just one big bunch of flowing energy. And when you tune into different so-called human beings, even though they look separate as two beings, you would see that this is one flow of energy and this is one flow of energy, but I see that both flow of energy is just one, right? There is no gap, so to speak. There is no separation. We haven't cut out each of us into separate energy bundles. Rather, it's all one big energy flow, and even in between us there is energy flowing. It's just that when you look into this room, all the only difference you would see energetically is that there is this flow of energy is a bit slow moving, this is very slow moving, this is little bit faster, this is super fast. Oh wow, that is like really fast, right? So that's the only so-called difference that we can see. But at the end of the day, this entire pack looks like one big bunch of energy. Go back into my ocean example, right? The entire ocean is just one, but then there's all these different kind of waves that's coming in and out. Even though each wave looks like a separate entity, but we know that it's the same water of the ocean that is flowing. So that's how we can imagine this entire oneness. Now, coming back to our day to day life, maybe I'm in conversation with my husband or with my mom or with my child, and then let's say there is so called conflict happening because I feel that, oh, he or she is wrong. She is doing this to me. And anytime when, in such conversation, you can see that, oh, this person is not different from me. From my human eyes, I see I'm this body and then this person is a separate body and looks like there is gap between me and him. But then, energetically, when I bring a microscope into it, I can see, oh, there is a connection, so called connection. It's not actually connection, it's just one. But then let's use the word connection here, that my energy is this, his energy is this, but looks like both of us are so called connected through another set of energy as well. So, therefore, when you look at that little scenario of two persons standing, you wouldn't see a separation between them. So now, all of a sudden, when we bring that into our day to day life, we can then address that, oh, this person is not separate from me. We are all one. What else how can that shift, my perspectives about especially relationships? I know relationship is a huge topic for a lot of us and a lot of so called relationship conflict that creates so much of distress in a lot of human beings, right? So once this oneness aspect is fully installed in us, we look at relationships differently. We look at, maybe I can deal this differently. What if we are one? I don't have to imagine this person as enemy, so to speak. This person is not my competitor. I don't have to do better than him. Maybe we are all one. If that oneness is fully embraced, we can have much more, maybe love is the closest word, right? We can have much more love to this entire collective as we can see it. Over to you, Sabrina.
Yes, I was just thinking about, all the different labels that we put on people, which is blown away by this practical perspective on oneness. If we say, like, oh, I don't like this type of person, or I don't like talking to or interacting with these types of people, all that is blown away when we start thinking as one, and that we are all just different expressions of the same energy. And what has happened, like, for me, for example, in my practical everyday life, is that I am much more open when I walk around. I don't have these strong labels anymore, like, oh, I can interact with this person, but not with that person. And what that does is that new opportunities, new interesting experiences actually come my way because I'm not as closed as I used to be. And suddenly I can interact with people I never thought that they would, actually connect with me. And I learn so much from that. I gain so many more interesting perspectives about life, which is really, as a human being, we are all usually very curious. So that is a very enriching experience. And as Vishnupriya say, that also takes away a lot of the conflict. Like, I don't have to constantly fight with someone else because they are actually part of me. We are all connected. So maybe I can start to understand them a little more. I can start to actively listen a little more and find a way to, solve this conflict without the usual drama that lots of us often experience in relationships. Anything to add, Vishnupriya?
Absolutely. And this concept takes me to my favorite statement, which is there is no strangers in this world, right? So we tend to use that word stranger. Oh, that person is a stranger. I don't know that person, or that country is totally different. I wouldn't want to go there, or all those perspectives. So if there are no strangers in this world, how would we live in this beautiful world which is all one, right? So I have seen a lot of people speak about, oh, I don't use online payment system, somebody would cheat me or rob my money, so to speak. But then the question is, if that person is also me, right? Even if that other person is cheating me or robbing money from me, if that person is also me, I would rather happily give it, right? So, in fact, this kind of an instance happened in my life where somebody actually cheated with regards to the money side of things. But after I got this perspective, I was like, okay, he is also part of me. I don't even know who actually took my money, but I know that he is also part of me. And I'm happy to now think about it, look at it as I have gifted that money to other part of me, right? So this is how practically when we apply this, a lot of so-called limiting perspectives can literally run away, and we can really feel that, hey, there are no strangers in this world. I don't have to fear, for example, sharing myself in social media. if somebody is kind of judging me, what would I do if somebody says this or misuse my things? All those little fears that we function with in this world can literally release once we start looking at all is one, and that person is also me, right? So I hope this video helps. We will catch you for the next step in the
See you
next
there.
video. See you there. Bye bye.